So yes, thank you everyone for being here. This webinar is called Safeguard Your Job, Surviving Coronavirus for Private Practice Physios. It's one of the most unusual and interesting and crazy times that I've been through in my 37 years. I have definitely been through interesting and challenging times as both a physiotherapist in private practice and a owner of a medium to large physiotherapy clinic. But this would have to be the most unusual and interesting time I've been through. And I don't want to be flippant. Times are very difficult for many of us. And that's why we need to have the discussion that we're going to have today. For those of you who are clinic owners, your perspective will be different from those of you who are physiotherapy employees, and your perspective will be different from other allied health clinic owners and employees. So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to know who's on the webinar. So I'm going to start a poll that should pop up for you. And I want to know who you are. Are you a physiotherapy clinic owner? Are you a physiotherapist employee? Are you an other allied health clinic owner or another type of allied health employee? So I'm going to start the poll now, and I'd just like to hear who's on the webinar, because when I know who's on the webinar, it helps me to adapt my message to suit the bulk of people, but also to make sure I'm encompassing everybody who's on this webinar with us today. So I'm just watching the poll as we start. So the vast majority of people on here to start with are physiotherapy employees, which is really good. We've got some other allied health employees. We've got some clinic owners. And I don't know if you guys can see this poll as it's live, but yes, 72% of people here are physiotherapy employees, 20% are owners, 10% are allied health employees. So that's a really good start, guys, because that gives me some context for today. Context is absolutely vital. So I'll let that just sit there, and I'll come back to that in just a moment, which is really interesting. I'll go back to the chat bar. Okay, so obviously this is our topic today. It's something that a lot of people are very concerned about and stressed about, and I want to help to give you a little bit of certainty in a very uncertain world and time right now. Even though I can't absolutely change the world, I can at least help you to get a little bit of clarity and certainty around what you might be able to do to influence the situation that you're in right now. Okay, so our itinerary for today, guys, I'm just gonna, can I move my head here? No. Okay, so our itinerary is this. First, we're gonna give context. I'm gonna talk about where we are at right now. The second thing I'm gonna talk about is 5 big challenges that you face, and I'm going to be talking from a physiotherapist employee's perspective rather than an owner's perspective, but the owners who are on here, you'll still get a good perspective. I'm then going to talk about 5 solutions, and these are things that I have context in my Ultimate Physio community and also what we've done in our own clinic. I'm going to talk then about opportunities, and then I'm going to give you a next step, something you can do to help yourself. Okay, so who's this guy talking to you? So my name's Nick Schuster. I own a physiotherapy clinic in North Brisbane called Scarborough Physio and Health. We're currently a team of 19. I've owned a physio clinic for 17 years since I was age 21. And I absolutely love private practice physio. I live and breathe it. It's in my blood. The second part about me is I started a business 3.5 years ago called Ultimate Physio, which is a business that helps physiotherapy clinic owners and physiotherapists in private practice to get the time, profit, and freedom back in their lives that they deserve. And 2 of my most proud things with Ultimate Physio, I've written 2 books. The one on the left is for clinic owners called Build the Ultimate Physio Clinic. The one on the right is called Becoming the Ultimate Physio, and it's sold about 2,000 copies to physiotherapists and clinic owners all over the world, mainly here in Australia. And the other thing that I'm really proud of is I chair a Facebook community of physio clinic owners in Australia. There's now about 1,200 clinic owners in this group. And we talk about all things private practice. So we talk about business, we talk about strategy, we talk about mindset, we talk about team, we talk about marketing, But obviously most of the talk in the last 2 weeks especially has been around the impacts to our lives and our communities and our teams and our businesses of coronavirus. And no one knows what that looks like yet. And even compared to the webinar I gave to owners on a similar topic a week ago, everything is different. You know, this is the time in my life where things have changed the quickest, and I've been doing this for quite some time. So the first thing I want to say to you is it's completely okay to feel lost and stressed. That is exactly how I would expect you to feel. That's how I'm feeling to a degree. I've been through similar times to this before, but not exactly the same as this and not to this degree of severity. So on a side note, I spoke to a 93-year-old patient this week who I won't be seeing again for some time because she'll be locked down. We've asked her not to come back. And I said to her, have you ever been involved in a time where society's been acting like this? And she said, yes. And I said, what was it? I thought it would be World War II. It wasn't World War II. It was when there was a polio epidemic in Australia. So the fear in society that was created around that polio epidemic was when people were last acting like this, which I think was in the 1940s. So we haven't had a time like this for 80 years. But this is our time, okay, guys. This is something we all have to deal with. So, you know, the first real signs of this for me, we saw what was happening in China on the news, but it didn't become real until we walked into our local supermarket, went to buy some toilet paper, not knowing that it was all sold out and it was just cleaned out. And this was a real sign of social panic, the herd mentality, the lemming effect. And these type of things. So I remember not the Monday just gone, but the Monday before, which is 10 days ago, my wife said, could you pick up some groceries on the way home? And I walked in and the supermarket was just bare. And I'm like, wow, what's going on here? Never seen this ever before. So I have been through a couple of different financial and personal crises in my life. Those of you who know me well would know I was highly exposed in the stock market during the GFC. I was 25 years old at the time. I lost about $200,000. It was very painful, but it affected me and it affected those people with money and investments. It didn't affect everyone, but this is affecting everyone. So I'm calling this situation the global health and financial crisis because primarily it's a health issue, which is very fast becoming a financial and economic issue and crisis. And in this time, you know, the way that I want to act and think is with the mentality of realistic optimism, which I think is really vital right now. You don't want to be pessimistic. You don't want to be overly optimistic. You want to be realistically optimistic. So I think that's the way that I'm looking to act right now. And, you know, this has been the general sentiment across society, and obviously this relates to the stock market, but I would probably more relate this slide to people's mindset. So we've seen this effect in our communities, we've seen it in our patients, we've seen it in our team, we've seen it in ourselves, we've seen it in our families, we've seen it around the world. This is, you know, panic, fear, anxiety, uncertainty, despair, depression, all of the worst emotions that you can possibly feel. The hard thing is this roller coaster is life. This is what we're going to have to deal with for a period of time that none of us know how long it will be. And that's the nature of uncertainty, guys. So we're going to have to get used to uncertainty for the time being. The one thing that's certain is things are going to be uncertain in the next little while. And one of my mentors, Tony Robbins, talks about the things that humans are driven by. And one of the things that humans are driven by is the need for certainty. And we definitely can't have that right now, me included. My team here at the clinic say that, Nick, you're a real planner, and my ability to plan right now, I'm still planning as much as I can, but it's definitely not what it would normally be. And for those of you who know investing, they know this gentleman here whose name is Warren Buffett. Warren's a wonderful person, investor, philanthropist, and he says, be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful, and others are fearful right now. So how can you be greedy? And greedy in a positive way. And my goal right now is to help as many people as possible. That's why I'm doing this webinar, guys. I want to help as many people as possible, both physios, physio clinic owners, our team, our community, my family, other people's families, you know, the biggest influence that I can have. So when we come back to some of these themes throughout the webinar, I'll ask some rhetorical questions. So, where can you be greedy in your life right now? How can you help as many people as possible? Okay, so what I'm going to talk through now, guys, is what I believe are 5 really big challenges facing physiotherapists and allied health employees, and you physio clinic owners. You may have these challenges too, or your team may have these challenges. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about this. Okay, so challenge number 1 is clinic owners and physios right now in your job, in your business, and in your life, you're facing uncertainty. And as I've just said before, that's a very hard thing to face. Humans are driven by certainty. We want to know what's happening today, tomorrow, next week, even next month, sometimes next year. We feel uncertainty, but what I'm detecting right now with the clients who are coming into our clinic, starting to drop off, obviously, and our community is feeling fearful. So uncertainty is an emotion that right now is being translated to fear. People are acting based on fear. How do people act when they're afraid? They don't act rationally. They act irrationally. They make snap decisions. They make decisions quickly. They don't think. They're high on emotion. And what we know about people making decisions when they're emotional is that the decisions aren't necessarily the best ones. And I'm seeing physio clinic owners, physios, patients, team, and members of our community making decisions based on fear. So that's a very big challenge for you right now. You'll be uncertain, you'll be fearful, and you'll be making decisions in a way that wouldn't normally be consistent with you being measured and thoughtful. Okay, so this is a challenge for the business that you're working in. There's a very high chance that your clinic's revenue is currently dropping faster than the expenses. So what this is doing when the clinic's revenue drops faster than the expenses, it stresses the owner both physically and financially, and it stresses the business. When the owner is stressed physically and financially and mentally and emotionally, things get harder. So for those of you who are employees, your owner is probably very stressed right now, but they're doing their best, and that's really important for you to know. And for you owners on here, your team are stressed. So they're seeing this, but if they don't have full understanding of the business, then they're worried because that's creating more uncertainty for them. So you're seeing clinic revenue drop faster than expenses, and this is a concerning time. The next challenge that you're seeing, guys, is your clinic's appointment books are getting emptier. So if you look ahead to how far your own appointment book is normally booked and your colleagues' appointment books, or for you owners, your staff's appointment books, they're getting emptier. And there's no obvious way to fill them. There are ways to fill them, but there's no obvious ways to fill them. But also there's, overlay the ethical dilemmas over the top of this. So, we don't want our elderly people in our clinic at the minute. We don't want to immune compromise people. And people are cancelling and they're stressed and they're fearful. They're worried that they're going to get coronavirus. They're starting to bunker down in their homes. The appointment books are getting emptier and emptier. And I've been in business 17 years and I've never seen this happen. I didn't see it happen during the GFC even. So it's pretty severe, very stressful. Okay, the 4th big challenge is in our business, you guys as physios and our admin team and our allied health professionals, we're stressed, we're sad, we're sick, and sometimes we're also being either paid to do not much or not being paid at all. For those of you who, some of you will have been told that your position's been stood down. Some of you will have been told that there's not enough work. Some of you are still hanging in there. Some of us are waiting for the government to shut us all down for a period of time. And what this causes stress, a lot of stress hormones, a lot of adrenaline and cortisol, some challenges sleeping at night. High emotions, riding the roller coaster, sadness and a bit of despair. And we've had 3 of our 19 teams sick, and I've had a physio who's been sick for more than 2 weeks now, and it's really sad to see. So our team is suffering, guys. So this is very important to support each other right now. And what about this challenge? You have no idea what the immediate 3 to 6 months holds for yourself, for your workplace, for your clients, for your community, for your other half. Yeah, you don't really know what's happening in the next 3 to 6 months. I don't. You know, you'd have to have a magic wand to know what's going to be happening in 3 to 6 months right now. So to a degree, we have to get used to this, and we have to accept this is the way that we'll be thinking right now, team. So yeah, before I move on to solutions, I'm going to give you a minute to ask a question or two. So in the chat box, feel free to put a question or two in. I won't have time for all questions, but if there's questions that seem like they're repeating themselves, I'll weave those into my webinar today. I'll give you a minute or so if you've got a question based on some of those problems and challenges that I just discussed. I'll take comments and I'll read your comments, but I won't read them out. I'll wait for questions. There's no questions, I'll move on, but no doubt you'll have questions as we go throughout this particular webinar. And even if there's questions that we have at the end, I'm happy to answer those questions for you as well. So Matt asked, do you suspect we're on the same trajectory as Europe? That's a good question, Matt. To be honest, I'm not qualified to answer it. It would be hard to see that we would be that different from anywhere else. As a clinic owner, I'll give you my perspective as a business owner. I'm planning mentally for us to close our business for a period of time. We're seeing our bookings drop and drop and drop. I don't know anything about the virus itself and its ability to proliferate, and I'm not concerning myself with that, but I'm preparing my business to close for a period of time. And if you had to put a gun to my head and ask me how long, I'm thinking around a month. We're preparing for that and preparing on the other side to reopen again. I believe they're going to stagger the stages of restriction. Everything will be closed for a period of time, bar the supermarket, doctor, surgery, pharmacy, and petrol station. And then I think they will re-stagger the opening of businesses. That's my perspective, Matt. That's what I believe. Okay, another question. Legally, what do you recommend employers do with long-standing employees? I will tell you what we're doing with our team members. So we have some casualised workforce, and when our casuals get to the point where they're not earning enough, they're registering for the Centrelink benefit, which as of late April will be $550 a week. We have a permanent workforce, and those guys, as their work dries up, we're choosing to put them on either half paid annual leave or full paid annual leave, whatever they're choosing. So that's how we're doing things for our team. Next question. How do we get the community to better understand how telehealth works and see the value in online consults? I think, Rebecca, I might leave that question until the solutions, because I'm talking about that in one of these solutions here. But that's a really good question. Okay, so guys, what we're going to do is we're going to get into the solutions part of today. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about, those of you who don't know me, my specialty is the head. People refer to me as the Tony Robbins of physio, and my real passion is the mindset of physiotherapists and physio clinic owners. It's something that I've studied for 12, 13 years. So what I want to talk to you about at the minute is your habits. So you've all treated a lot of patients. Some of you are new to physio, most of you are experienced. Right now is where we have to practice what we preach. So when you're seeing a person with persistent pain, you know that their habits are a huge driver of their pain. Their mood, their sleep, their food, their movement, their community and their environment, and these type of things. So these are some of the habits that I want to talk through that will help a physiotherapist through these challenging times. We don't really know how long that's going to go for. So here are some of the habits that I would recommend you as a physiotherapist increase as quickly as you can. So the first thing is meeting with your clinic owner. If your clinic owner has availability, I'm definitely encouraging you to meet with them, to update them as to how you're going, to ask them for updates, and just to communicate. So one of the things that we're finding in our group of physiotherapy clinic owners is the frequency of communication has increased drastically. Normally in our Facebook group, we'll have about 10 posts a day, but at the minute it's probably more like 100, maybe even 150. So we're communicating more often, because when you communicate, you get information. When you get information, you feel safe, and it gives you a little bit of certainty. So frequent communication and honest communication is going to give you a little bit more certainty in these uncertain times. So that's the first thing. Team meetings are vital. So normally at our clinic, I'll meet with members of our team on a weekly basis. We only have a formal team meeting every month. But we're doing this every week at the minute, and I'm speaking to my team through our closed Facebook group, where all our team members from our clinic are on there with regular updates. So we're having team meetings regularly where people can speak and voice their concerns, where we can discuss, because as the owner, I don't have all of the answers as well. And, you know, this is the situation right now. Now is when you really need to lean on your mentors. So some of you will have people who you have considered a mentor over the years. This is both like a paid mentor or an unpaid mentor. It could be your personal trainer. It could be a patient who's very experienced or someone you respect. It could be a parent, could be a friend, could be your clinic owner. It could be someone in a local business in your region who you respect. This is the time to lean on your mentors, guys. So the people you know and respect, get in their ear, tell them how you're feeling, ask them for help, ask them for advice. And, you know, I have literally been speaking to about 300 or 400 people a week in my network of physiotherapy clinic owners and physiotherapists, and they've been contacting me on Facebook. They've been asking me questions. I'm replying as quickly as I can. I am getting around to everyone, so this is working really well. When you've got this, this degree of communication, it gives you a little bit of stress relief. So stress relief is really vital right now. I'm a fan of the MMA. It's something I'm really loving at the minute. Last night I got home from work, put my kids to bed and my wife to bed, and literally I watched some replays of UFC for about 2 hours. It was really cool. It calmed me down, and I slept better because of it. So, you know, when you get the stress relief, normally your mind wanders more into the afternoon and the evening. So you need the stress relief at night. I slept better last night because of this, but, you know, some of you might not be sleeping well at the minute, and that's perfectly understandable as well. So do whatever you can to sleep better. Staying calm is not as easy as me just saying stay calm. Obviously, if I say stay calm, that's not necessarily possible. But what can you do in your life to stay calm? Like, is it, you know, this is really hard now that the gyms have been cancelled. What can you do to exercise and relax? You know, it could just be getting outside. It could be getting sun because you don't want to get low in vitamin D. You don't want to get depleted in other vitamins and minerals. Like, I know myself, I haven't been eating like I normally would. So I'm eating well, and I'm taking some supplements for various things that I normally do. A big one, guys, I think the news is poisonous right now. I think it's logical to get fact-based updates as to this virus and its impacts, but I would encourage you to turn off the news. That shouldn't necessarily say turn off the TV, but turn off the news. The news is poisonous. It's absolutely giving us grief at the minute, and I really am quite upset with, you know, how the media is reporting this and how much fear they're putting into people, and I don't believe in what they're doing at all. I think this is really, really bad. And, you know, I think that if you're watching a lot of news right now, it's probably going to be stressing you out and giving you a lot of grief. So this is a really important saying. So this is this guy's a retired General Mattis from the US Army. He says the most important 6 inches in the battlefield is that between your ears. And we are in the battlefield right now, guys. You know, regardless of whether we like it or not, this is where we are, and this is what you need to control. Okay, that's absolutely critical and absolutely vital. Okay. So what do I do for relaxation? This is me here, this skinny white guy in a singlet. This is our boxing group. So we're outside in this very basic boxing training area, and we're practicing some boxing. This was a couple of weeks ago, so it was before social distancing came in, but right now I'm working on bags and I'm working on pad work. Because I've got a very long arm, I can stay 1.5 meters from my trainer. He's getting me to work on long jabs and hooks. So this is what keeps me calm. I'm doing this twice a week at the minute. I really enjoy it. And for those of you who can't exercise, just get outside. You know, you can't go to the gym, which is no good, but what else can you do to keep your head good? You've got to be able to do something. Yep. Yeah, that's where we're at. Okay, so I'll move on. Okay, solution number 2. Solution number 2 is about business strategy. So the problem that I spoke about is relating to this is the fact that expenses aren't dropping as fast as revenue is dropping in a physio clinic. And I've seen this for the first time in my 17-year career as an owner, and it's pretty nasty. So the solution is strategy. So you guys as physios and allied health professionals, this is really the stage where you need to learn about your role in keeping the business going. So this was something that I received a little bit of backlash about when I first put this webinar out. Traditionally in private practice physiotherapy, when it comes to us owners asking physiotherapists to do things like marketing or patient recalls or treatment plans, us owners have traditionally got a lot of resistance with this. Physios think, oh, well, my only job is to do a great job with the patients and I don't have to do all that other stuff. I don't have to be on video. I don't have to be talking to our current and past clients. I don't have to be doing treatment plans just because the owner tells me to. I don't have to be doing recalls because I don't like them and they're scary and we're bothering patients. But this is the time, guys, that we as physiotherapists working in a business, not owners, but physiotherapists treating patients, we need to learn about business and how to make the business work. What is your role in keeping your business going? And this is not just now before the shutdown, if we do shut down, but this is on the other side of this as well. Is your role to know and understand and learn about the numbers? Is your role to understand what a patient visit average is, which is how many visits you see a client for? Is your role to rebook patients? Is your role to get involved in telehealth? Talk to me about this. This is where I'd like to answer a few questions, because this is a particularly controversial topic when it comes to the dialogue between physiotherapy clinic owners and physiotherapy employees. Do you guys reckon it's your job to do this stuff, or is it just the owner's job? Here's what I'm seeing. The physiotherapists that do these things are retaining a client base and staying in their jobs. For us as the owner, if we have 5 physiotherapists working for us and some of them are doing these things and keeping their books full, and others of them aren't doing these things and their patients are dropping like flies and cancelling, and on the other end of this, when we're able to grow again, when we've got physiotherapists that aren't doing these things, it's creating a divide between the physios who are genuinely helping in the business to grow the business again and justify their positions, and physiotherapists that aren't doing these things. And this is going to create some really hard decisions for us owners. In an ideal world, we want all of our team to act equally good, including us as the owner, and for us all to help each other. But in reality, this is not how things work. You have some physiotherapists that are superstars and they do everything they need to do. They understand. You've got other physiotherapists that are resistant, that don't like doing these things. They don't like calling the patients. They don't like shooting the Facebook videos. They don't like talking about the numbers. The reality that I will give you today, guys, is the physiotherapists that don't do this stuff will lose their jobs. I cannot be any more clear than that. How do I know this? Because it's already happening. I'm seeing it. Businesses that are under stress are having to shed team members, and the best people will stay. That's the truth. That's what we're seeing right now. I'm obviously happy for you guys to rip me apart with this, but I'm just telling you the truth. I want to tell you this now and encourage you that this is part of your role. Don't just sit back. Get stuck in and do this. Help your owners. Any questions around this? You can see that this is a topic that I feel really passionate about. I desperately want you guys to keep your jobs, desperately. I desperately want your owners to keep you on. But in private practice, the only revenue that we generate is through patients coming through the door or, you know, on telehealth. But if your clinic is not getting revenue, it makes it harder and harder for your clinic to keep its team together. And you might have already been witnessing that in your business. Here's a good comment. I think you see the benefit as a physio when you do these things for your patients and you feel good to nail all of it. Business owners also recognize completing these tasks. Absolutely right. Have I started to use telehealth in your clinic, my clinic yet? And have patients been interested in it? We're just starting to get the technology sorted out. I believe that APA put out a circular today about rebates coming in, and we're going to use it for our existing clients, and we'll use it selectively. We won't use it for everyone. So I can't answer your question yet, Jessica, about how it's been received, but I can tell you that we're going to get it started, and I'm quite interested in it and what it can provide. Good comment from Peter, says, these things are uncomfortable sometimes, but necessary. Natasha, you talked about this being important on the other side when we're starting growing again. How does it apply now? Great question, Natasha. So one of my perspectives right now is I've got this philosophy right now of well patients seeing well therapists. So if our team members are healthy and well, low risk, not the elderly, not the immune compromised, and our physiotherapists and allied health staff are well, I'm happy for us to continue trading right now until the government recommends a shutdown, at which time I will take their recommendations on board. But across the board, there are clinics who have already shut, there are clinics who are staying open. I believe in personal choice, obviously within the rules, but I personally believe that it's the clinic owner's choice what they do, as long as we're all playing within the rules. Fiona, what motivational language do I use to encourage this with my staff? A lot of feeling down, depressed, anxious, and trying to get them to take on so many new strategies is challenging. I completely agree with you, Fiona. So my perspective on this is I support my team when they're down and I challenge them when they're up. So if they're down, I'm not talking about this stuff. I'm talking about how I can help them, where their head's at, what their habits are like, try and get them up a bit. And when they're up, then I talk to them about this stuff, Fiona. So you've got to get them up first. If you can't get them up, talking about this stuff won't work. So this is part of learning to be a coach as a clinic owner, is get them up with support. And then when they're feeling a bit better, it's like, hey guys, are you ready for this? Tell me about what challenges you're going to have with this particular process. Watch me do a few and I'll help train you. Do a few and come back to me and tell me what barriers there are. Beth, how does a Facebook video retain my clients when I don't use social media much myself personally? At our clinic, we have a VIP group. So we have 900 of our best clients in a Facebook group and we talk to them regularly. We give them information. We give them humor. We share our stories with them. So if you don't use social media personally, it depends whether your clinic, Beth, is using social media. Whatever social media that your clinic is using, I'd recommend integrating yourself and plugging yourself into that social media, because your clients want to know about you. They want to know about who you are, what your philosophies are as a person, the services you offer. They want to hear from you. They want to hear your advice. Matt, if you have a member of staff who tests positive, would you self-instigate a clinic shutdown isolation period? We have to, so yes. So if one of our staff's positive, the clinic shuts down for 2 weeks. Caroline, I'm a business owner. I'm in the exact position. I'm having a meeting with staff to see who'll be willing to participate in telehealth and assist in the process, this new way of treating. You agree with me that people that are not willing to put in the effort will lose their job. We don't want them to lose their jobs, but they may. As a clinic owner, if you don't have the money to pay someone, what's the alternative? A lot of clinic owners, guys, that I know are actually not taking a wage right now so they can pay you. During this time, how we act will be remembered on the other side. Liam, What do I see is the biggest change in private practice after this is settled? Some clinics have closed and many physios unemployed as a result of the pandemic. Great question. As an employer for 17 years, it's always been hard in my time to find the best physios. So, Liam, the biggest change that I believe we'll see is there will be opportunities for clinic owners to cherry pick the best physios, which will mean we have more choice. This might mean that physios who are underperforming may not be able to stay in their job. So up until now, as an owner, we have found that when we put a job ad out there, we only get one applicant. So it's almost like, as an owner, you've had to take anyone that comes along, but owners are going to have some choice now. They're going to have the choice to hire the best physios. Liam, that's my thoughts, and that's going to produce some interesting results. Juliet says, we've had staff set up a professional Facebook profile so they don't expose their private profile, and that's a great idea. Matt, isn't that an inevitability given the volume of footfall of public through clinics? Sorry, I'm not sure I understand that. Q&A. Okay, so I'm going to keep moving, guys, but we had some great questions around that particular slide, and that's one of the most important slides today. Or more questions. Yeah, this owner here, this is a longer post, but the owner says that they're not taking a wage now, but they'll definitely look after the staff that will be putting in the extra effort once they're back up and running. Mustafa, if an employee gets sick on the job, is it work cover sick leave, and what entitlement might be in place? I'm not 100% sure about this, to be honest. I really don't know the rules here. That's what we've got Fair Work for, and that's what we've got HR in practice for those of you, by sick you mean coronavirus. I must admit, Mustafa, I'm not 100% sure. I can do some research for you, but I don't know the answer right now. So this slide is the practice software that we use, and I regularly generate reports. So I'm looking at our numbers. This week so far, it's a Thursday, halfway through the day, and our revenue is on target this week to be 40% of what it would normally be, and our business is one of the busiest businesses in Australia in terms of the numbers of new clients through the door. So, you know, a lot of businesses are going to suffer right now, and I'm actually not that concerned. I want to look after my team and look after my community, do what the government tells me, and come out of this the other side much stronger. So what I recommend, guys, is this is a time where it helps you to know the numbers. What is your break-even point? Therapists, how many clients do you need to see to pay your wage every week? When it gets below that point, the owners are probably going to have to start paying you your leave because there's not going to be too much work to do. There'll be a small amount of telehealth, but I don't predict there'll be as much telehealth as some of you may think. And this slide is about Xero, which is accounting software. So your owner's keeping an eye on the expenses, and you know, expenses are absolutely critical to track right now. Okay, so solution number 3 is what I alluded to before. So here are some of the different things that you as a physio can do to help your clinic owner to either stay busy, if that's the philosophy that you guys are working on right now, or to really build up once you come out the other side of this, you know, this problem or this phasing back or this closure, whatever we'll face. So some of the tasks that I've got my clinicians and admin team doing in my clinic with respect to marketing is we've got cancellation lists, with which at the minute we're generating and adding people to that. We're not necessarily calling those people yet. We're sending emails to our clients regularly with updates to build relationships. We're posting on our Facebook page. When we've got appointments free for physiotherapy, we're putting some appointment availability on the sandwich board out the front of our clinic. And my philosophy is well therapists seeing well clients until we have to shut down, if that comes. So with respect to marketing tasks, like this is an example of a list that we'd created where I've depersonalized and taken patient details and phone numbers, but it's got their therapist and it's got the reason they've cancelled. So I think that list for us now would have 200 clients on there. This was obviously from last week. There was only 25. When all this is over, we're going to call them all again. Even while this is happening, if we have to shut down, every therapist and admin team member is going to have a list of patients they take home to call and see, how are you going? Are you okay? You know, just giving you a call to see how you are, checking in. This is the stuff that we're going to do. We're posting really regularly on our social media, on our Facebook page, our Facebook closed group, and our email database, just keeping our clients informed as to any changes and what's happening. And our people are really enjoying that and responding to it well. So in our clinic, we do use Facebook a lot. If you don't want to use your personal profile, as another clinic owner suggested, there is an opportunity for you to create a different profile, or for you to be an admin in the Facebook page or group, so you can post as the page. But I want you to think innovatively, guys. This is a real opportunity for those of you who want to be private practitioners of choice, to really get your name out there and get exposed to your patients, for them to see you and hear you and understand you. Build that profile right now, okay? The fourth solution, within our team. So as a physiotherapist, I want you to speak to your clinic owner and as many colleagues in your team daily as possible. We all need each other's support right now. We all need to be talking to each other and helping each other. This is really critical. This is really important. You're going to get so much out of this. Isn't it a thrill when you help people? So we all started as physiotherapists to help as many people as possible. Start with your team, because there's some people on your team. Everyone I'm finding in my team is at a different stage. Some people are up, some people are down. Not only am I helping them, but we're helping each other, and it's really wonderful to see. That makes us more tight-knit as a team. When we come out of this on the other side, we're all going to be doing much better, okay? Talk to your team members. Your owner is coaching you at the minute, whether you like it or not, whether you know it or not. This is your ability to learn to coach your other team members. Help your team the way you'd help your patients. We all have some coaching skills from being physiotherapists. That's just naturally what we do. We motivate people, we inspire people, we lead them. We're experts in behavioral change. That's what we do. Help your team like you'd help your patients. Okay, and the fifth solution is regarding the systems in your clinic. What I want you to be doing, even as employees, guys, is to think ahead for challenges. Say to your clinic owner, hey, I can see this is happening, because you're hearing things from your clients. You're hearing different things than your clinic owner would hear. Ask for help. Don't do this on your own. Don't spend too long inside your own head. Ask your clinic owner for help. Identify the leaders in your community and in your clinic, because naturally what's happening right now is some people are stepping up. They're showing leadership. This is absolutely critical right now. Identify the people who are stepping up. And most importantly, keep calm. So there's this saying that, you know, a duck is just floating along on top of the water, but underneath the water, its feet are like that. So that's how I feel. I feel under the surface like, you know, I'm really doing a million things right now, but I want to give that illusion of calmness. I want to really feel calm, and I want to feel like I'm in control, and project that to our clients and our team and our communities. This is critical. Why do I think there won't be a lot of telehealth opportunities with our patients? I do think there will be opportunities, but in my clinic, Natasha, like we have 300, 350 consults a week, and not all of those people will want to do telehealth. So some will, but not all. That's my belief. Might be different with your caseload. We treat a middle-aged to older caseload. Some will, some won't. That's my thoughts. Okay, so when it comes to a disaster recovery plan, guys, at the minute you're planning. You're identifying the scope that you need to plan for. You know, we've got people who are helping, who are our emergency contacts. We've got a disaster recovery team. So when we got through this, there's a team of people in your clinic who will have different roles and responsibilities. You will need to get your technology working for you again. You'll need to make sure your data is safe. You'll need to test it. This is probably more relevant to owners. This is a slide I actually forgot to take out from last week. Okay, so now we're going to move into the final stage of today, which is opportunities. So when you read this slide, opportunity is nowhere. What do you see? Do you see opportunity is nowhere? Or do you see opportunity is now here? During times of crisis in the history of the world has been born opportunity. I read something the other day that talked about, you know, it was the Spanish flu or the plague or something. Talked about people having to self-isolate back in the 1600s. Talked about Isaac Newton self-isolating. And it gave him time to think, and that's where he came up with a lot of his philosophies and theories. So As hard as it is to say, guys, there's actually going to be some pretty wonderful things coming out of this situation. So what are the opportunities for you? Are opportunities nowhere at the minute, or are they now here in front of you and you just need some time to de-stress and think and see what the opportunities are? What do you think? Opportunity number one, random acts of kindness for your team, for your clients, and for your community. So I've been doing a fair bit in the last 2 weeks to help my team, and yesterday my practice manager said, we've got a delivery for you at the front. I came out, my team had baked me a cake, and they give me a card saying thank you for all you do, and everyone had signed it. And I'm a pretty externally tough guy. You know, this might sound a bit weird, but, you know, I don't think I've cried since I was, you know, a kid where someone punched me and, you know, it hurt. But I got a tear in my eye, and yeah, I genuinely, I said to my team, I'll remember that for the rest of my life. So, you know, during times of crisis, my team, I really knew that my team appreciated me, and that meant a lot. So what can you do for your fellow team members? What can you do for your clients? We had a lady come in the other day who's a personal trainer. She lost her job. She cancelled her appointment. I thought, no. We called her. We gave her a free appointment. I know it's not much, but it's better than nothing. She'll remember that. That will help her. In our clinic, if anyone loses their job while we're open, we're going to give them a free appointment. And community, what can you do for your community? So we're talking to our community. We're keeping them upbeat. We're using a lot of humor in our clinic at the minute. We're being positive. We're putting funny posts and silly posts on our Facebook group. We're just trying to keep things light in this time of challenge. And that's absolutely critical. So what can you do as a random act of kindness? Put it in the chat box. I want to have a look. Opportunity number two, guys. This is a lot of what I've spoken about today with contacting your email database, phoning your clients, your past clients and your current clients, posting on Facebook. This is a great opportunity for you guys to be the physio of choice in your community, strengthening your relationship with your raving fans. So talk to your community, guys, and don't be scared to put yourself on video. Look at me, like I'm hardly an oil painting, and I used to hate the sound of my own voice, but I've realized that if I want to be influential, if I want to help a lot of people, I've got to get used to being on video. I've got to get used to the sound of my voice. I've been doing this for about 7 years now in terms of, you know, videos, webinars, and communicating with people. Talk to your community. I'm sure you guys have a lot of good things you can say. Your community are crying out for positivity. They don't want to be watching the news and hearing about all the terrible things and all the people dying and all the people getting sick. That's depressing. Talk to your community. Help them. Understand them. You know, give them light relief. Use humor. There's so much you can do in this space, team. Opportunity three. This alludes to the question that Liam asked before, which is how are things going to be different afterwards? Step up. Step up as a leader. Show that your clinic owner that you are a future leader, because your commitment and your loyalty right now, I can assure you, it will be repaid. Some clinics will die. Some clinics will close. The strong will survive. What that means is on the other side of this, if your clinic survives, some of your competitors won't. You will be busier on the other side of this. How you act now will be remembered in the future. Become a beacon of your community and you will be busy on the other side. You'll be rewarded. I can assure you that. You'll get busy. Patients will flock to you. They'll love you. You know, there's going to be some challenging times for a little while, especially with people losing their jobs and people getting sick. Step up, guys. This is your chance. Some of your team will cope and others won't. Be the one who copes. You won't feel good all the time. You'll have ups and downs. You'll ride the mental roller coaster. The main thing is be the one who copes. And as hard as this is to do, put on a brave face. Help people. You know, if you need to have a breakdown or a cry, do that. But as some of my mentors say, don't have a bad day, have a bad half an hour. Go and spend that time. Feel really sorry for yourself, feel awful, but then get over it. Move on. Move forward. That's what we need to do. Winston Churchill said, when you're going through hell, keep going. Don't stop. Don't stay there. I honestly believe some people are going to get PTSD out of this. So if you support each other, you will cope. Coping doesn't mean feeling good all the time, guys. You will have ups and downs, but just keep going. That's critical. And this is the most important strategy I want to talk to you about. By far the most important thing I can say to you today. I firmly believe, team, that we grow through challenge. And I'm going to challenge you to grow right now as a private practice physio, because in this stage, you are going to learn skills that are going to help you for the rest of your life. My story. I was 25 during the GFC. I'd invested too heavily in a risky strategy. I lost $200,000. I had bought a house at age 21 after growing up really poor. I got my clinic at age 21 and I thought, wow, I've got some money, and I bought a house. I was really proud. I'd almost totally paid the house off, and I basically lost my life savings, which was the mortgage against the house. So I had to go back to the start and start paying the house off again. I remember getting to work one day as a 25-year-old. I turned on the computer. I looked at the stock exchange, and in 1 minute, I lost $30,000. I ran out of the clinic. I spewed my guts up on the front lawn of the clinic, and I came back inside and I treated 30 people, because that was what I had to do. Grow through challenge. What this looks like, guys, normally, if things are good in life, how much are we actually growing? It's nice when things are good. It really benefits you to have some good times. But when things get hard, you feel stressed, you feel confused, you feel anxious, you feel despair, you feel depression. This is actually where you're growing. This is actually where you're rewiring neural pathways. Grow through challenge, guys, and this is going to be the biggest challenge for most of you in your life so far. What I'm noticing right now in my community of clinic owners is clinic owners who've never been through anything like this are struggling. But clinic owners who've been through significant challenge, including personal health issues, family health issues, death, divorce, business trauma, closing of businesses, significant loss of team members, they're getting through this because they've learned skills that help them cope. This is your opportunity. This is your time where you're learning these skills. It's not nice. I hate that you have to learn this way. This is what will help you. You will look back in 5 years and this period will be what made you. I guarantee that. But first we have to get through it. We have to support each other, help each other, support your community and your team and your businesses. Keep these businesses so that we can come out the other side and grow again. It's your owner's choice, whether you open or close. It's the government's choice as well. But I want to see you guys on the other side of this. That's absolutely key. And this is a summary of what I just talked about. So there's a really good business mentor called Seth Godin, and he talks about a concept called the dip. So you'll see the vertical axis is results and the horizontal axis is effort. And what happens is you're in the dip when your results drop despite your effort increasing, but you're not in the dip forever. So guys, we're right in the bottom of the dip right now. You're giving as much effort as you've given in your life and you're getting terrible results, but that's okay because you know the dip exists now. Look at the second half of the dip. The dip goes up. I don't know how long it'll take for us to go up, but you are going to go up. I can guarantee that. It might take 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 2 years. You will go up. You're in the dip. Okay. So we're going to finish very soon, but the first thing I want to do is help you. I committed to my clinic owners community that for those of you who are on this webinar, I wanted to give you something of value and I wanted to give it to you freely, okay? I'm not in this for the money. I'm in this to help as many people as possible. So I want to help you. So this is a traffic light. The red means you're not ready for this. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do anything. I just want to, pull my doona over my head and pretend it's not happening. Orange means, yeah, maybe I'm ready. Maybe I'm ready to grow. Maybe I'm ready for this. And green means let's go. Let's get started. What's the next step? What do I have to do to grow? What do I have to do to grow through this? Okay, so this particular book here that I've written, Becoming the Ultimate Physio, this book has sold 2,000 copies. And what I want to do is I want to give you this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is you'll see something on your screens right now. Just trying to work out how to use the tech, guys. Won't be a sec. Okay, so you should now see this particular book I've written. I recorded it late last year as an audio book, Becoming the Ultimate Physio. This is really a book written for private practice physios, although more owners than private practice physios have bought it. Now, I understand money is probably going to be an issue for many people at the minute, which is why I'm giving you this for free. I sell this on my Ultimate Physio website. It normally costs $30 for the next 2 days. If you go onto my website, you click that Buy Now button, that will open up a new window. That will take you to the link where you get this book. You add it to your cart. You use the code webinar, the word webinar at the cart, and you will get this particular book for nothing. And you can listen to it. It takes 4 hours to listen to. It will give you more of my good stuff. Peter, we have your book in our clinic and you read it 12 months ago. Highly recommended. Thank you, mate. I want to give this book to as many physios as possible. It's not going to be free forever, so this is your opportunity to get it for free. If you're watching this as a recording, I'm going to also work out how to make it for free on an ongoing basis, not forever, but for a short period of time. Liam says he bought the book in 2018. It's a great read and highly recommended. Even better when you can listen to it, guys. So for those of you who like audio books, this is on Audible and you got to pay for it there, but you can get it for free from me today. Sanam, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, so this is the offer that I'd like to give you guys today. So I really want you to step up and I can help you step up. Scott, I think we just crashed your site. Oh, hopefully it's not like the Centrelink site. So, oh, that's hilarious. Error in establishing connection. Fiona, you've crashed it. That is funny. That is absolutely hilarious, guys. I'm going to tell that story in the future, maybe in 3 months, maybe in 6 months. So you'll get a copy of this webinar too, guys. So if you can't get it right now, you can go on there in a little while and you can jump on. So yes, that's it from me, team. This is how I want to finish. So it's really helpful if this is how we think, okay? So you've woken up in the morning and today's day one. You got to think like this, okay? You got to get through today. You've got to do it again. And then you've got to do it all again tomorrow. And then you've got to do it the day after. But just remember, my favorite quote right now, and this is my quote, you can credit me for this. How you act now will be remembered on the other side of this, okay, guys? And for those of you old enough to remember this absolute gold nugget, Jerry Springer. At the end of every episode, people fighting and carrying on. It was a great show. I used to love it for the drama. Jerry said, take care of yourselves and each other. Guys, thank you so much. If you're not a member of my Facebook group for physiotherapists, the Ultimate Physio, Private Practice Physio Education Group, get onto Facebook and join. I'll look forward to helping you. Download the book, have a listen to it, watch the replay, share this with your team. Thank you so much. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you on the other side. See ya.